Welcome back to Digital Asia Radio. I'm your host, Angus Bailey. Now, following on from this specific look at anime soundtracks and the relationship between anime and music and myself, I want to take this back to my very first exposure to both anime and the soundtrack of anime, and I think probably my earliest exposure to sort of Japanese contemporary music, in a sense, and this all relates to the anime film Ghost in the Shell. I distinctly remember when I first experienced watching Ghost in the Shell that I disliked the song. The song is called "Making of a Cyborg," and I'll play it for you a little bit later on. As a 15-year-old Caucasian Australian, it felt very unfamiliar to me, and it really put me in a sort of sense of culture shock. And it used, yes, instruments and a style of vocal choral chanting that I felt particularly removed from at the time, because I was much more interested in sort of grunge and hip hop. And I chalk this initial discomfort up to several things, because obviously it relates a lot to my own biases, cultural biases and assumptions. So obviously I was only young, so I had a culturally insecure adolescent state of mind. I had a complete inexperience with anime at the time, and also Ghost in the Shell is quite a sort of an adult anime in terms of violence, depictions of sort of nudity, and also of sort of philosophical cyberpunk elements. So I was really not prepared for the entire package, as it were. So it wasn't really fair of me to judge the music in the context of a completely new set of experiences to me. But what's interesting is how quickly I was able to sort of overcome this as well, and really learn to appreciate the sounds that I was hearing. I think it's important to sort of reflect on culture shock, because then you can't really move past it. If you let the culture shock speak for the culture, then you're obviously just going to make sort of false assumptions and sort of perpetuate a negative idea of what you experienced. And obviously, in subsequent viewings of Ghost in the Shell, I've actually grown quite fond of the soundtrack, and I sort of see it as a significant part of the overall narrative. So I think that this song was really important for sort of helping me to come to terms with how to process cultures that are completely new to me. And so here it is. It's Making of a Cyborg from the Ghost in the Shell soundtrack.